What's up guys, welcome to another Blue Belt Smash. Today we have Brad on the channel and this is a really good roll, so make sure you watch the whole thing. Brad shoots for a single and I counter by putting him in the front headlock position. Brad does the right thing by trying to jump his legs to the opposite side of his head, but I switch to an arm and guillotine and finish with that. Where the head goes, the body must follow. That's why I cut Brad's chin and just pull him down with that grip. Brad does the right thing by trying to jump his legs to the opposite side of his head to avoid my arm and guillotine, but I take my hand out and adjust to an arm out guillotine where I have my arm so deep that it's basically like a reverse rear naked choke. I'm using my left hand to push my right forearm into Brad's neck. This style of guillotine I think is the most effective and requires the least amount of finesse to get right. So now we're back to standing and grip fighting, and you can notice I'm always going two hands on one. This is going to be the most effective way to control someone, and I go right back to the front headlock position. I use my right leg to flip Brad over, and as he turns to his knees I switch to my darce, and it's really hard to finish a darce when the person's on their knees, so I bring Brad onto his side. I'm ready for Brad's underhook. I immediately put in my overhook and snatch up the chin again, dragging him down nice and gentle to avoid any strain on the neck. I'm doing a better job of stopping Brad from jumping over by keeping my right leg hooked on him, which I also use to flip him over. I'm loose with my arms as Brad comes up so he can fall into place with correct elbow positioning. Make sure to watch my darce guide to understand this more in depth. I walk myself closer to Brad to use my body to push Brad's head and neck into my forearm. That's what does most of the work rather than the squeeze. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment if you haven't already. I really appreciate it. This is similar to an arm drag and something I do a lot. As they try and come around to my back, I sneak in the underhook. Footwork isn't only important in striking, it's also important in takedowns. I'm just trying to get Brad to step in a way that's advantageous for me. I was trying to get Brad to step forward with his right leg and he does, so I go to the knee tap. The knee tap is a really low risk takedown. You don't have to worry about getting sprawled on or someone grabbing your neck. All you need is an underhook and the person to step forward, and then you just tap the knee. Brad's doing a really good job of staying defensive, not really giving me any openings, and I could try to smash more where I'm really grinding through things, but I try to roll more like dynamic in these rolls just because it's more exciting and you see more cool things. I do find an opening to put Brad back in the front headlock position, but he's adjusting better this time by grip fighting way better. When people are trying to choke me, put me in darces and stuff like that, I just try to stay calm and work on the grips, making sure they can't get the grips they need to finish the choke. I get a little greedy here trying to go for a rolling back attack. It would have worked better if I could have hooked my toes on Brad's shin. With my legs between Brad's, I'm a little vulnerable to a leg lock, so instead I bring my toes to the other side. And just in general, we want inside position in Jiu-Jitsu. For example, an underhook would be inside position and overhook would be outside position. This is another great example. I put my knee between Brad's legs. This is inside position. I'm going for dope mount, one of the most powerful mount entries there is, one of my favorites. This is a technique popularized by BJJ, and if you do it wrong, you can get leg locked, but if you do it right, you don't have to worry at all about getting leg locked. The way to do it right is to point your knee back towards your partner, which does two things. It widens your base like a trapezoid and pushes their bottom leg away and immobilizes it. I would like to have more of a cross face on Brad, but he's doing a good job keeping his T-Rex arms in. Now I just bring one knee in at a time, and as soon as I mount, I like to bring my feet underneath the person. Then I cross them, and this makes it really hard to escape, and when you initially mount someone, that's when they're going to give you the most resistance. That's when you need to work the hardest to keep them in mount. I almost always go for arm triangles in mount when rolling no-gi, because even if you don't get it, it at least opens up opportunities for other submissions because it brings their elbows high, allowing you to get a high mount. I lift up Brad's head just so I can get better bicep positioning on his neck, and then I go right back to crawling my fingers higher and higher and higher. This is what you want to do for an arm triangle, and I do get this arm triangle, but look how I could easily get to a high mount just by sliding my left knee up. And now I just want to get my head to the other side of Brad's arm, and Brad's doing a great job of trying to stop me by using two hands and using that frame, but eventually I do get it, and I also use my hand just to get it a little deeper. You can definitely finish arm triangles from mount, but I find it a lot easier to finish from side control, so I just backstep, and Brad's doing the exact right thing by trying to point his elbow towards the top of my head and using his other hand to help him. I just made a Patreon, and if anyone wants to support the channel and make sure I keep making videos, the link is in the description. My goal is to get 100 patrons by the end of September. In return, I'm going to do one technique guide and one rolling commentary per week until the end of September as a challenge, and thank you to my supporters. I've got 4 right now, so we only need 96 more. Look again, arm drag to underhook. This is a money combo and one you should get good at, and I just go ankle pick from here. Let's see it in a little more detail. Look how Brad has control of my wrist. This makes it harder to do things. I try to use my knee to actually break the grip. Right here you can see, but it doesn't work. I end up being able to reach anyways, and this is like a ankle pick, but more of like a knee tap setup, so I kind of just called it both. Because I have the underhook, it just makes sense to go knee slide for the pass, and I'm trying to get my knee free first and then my ankle. And now I'm bring my knee to the other side. I think about a rolling back attack, but I don't want to screw it up again, so instead I just use my instep to get to mount instead. Make sure to watch my half guard passing guide. You'll see exactly what I'm doing in more detail. This is a beautiful sequence from Brad. You can see his arms are up high where he doesn't want them, so what he does is he puts his hands together for a frame, and then he shrimps away a little bit so he has some space to circle his hands in. Great job, Brad. You make me a proud coach. Brad's giving me more trouble than I like in the mount, so I just backstep and then I find the open elbow and I get to my Kimura grip. Kimuras can be a lot of work to finish, so instead, once I get Brad onto his side, I just switch to the armbar instead. It's harder to break armbar grips when the person is on their knees, so knowing this, the opposite is also true. You want to get to your knees when you're being armbarred. It makes it a lot harder for them to finish. I just switch to the triangle though. You can see a lot better in slow motion. I break the grip and Brad takes his hand out so he can try to re-grip, and it's kind of like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't, because either way he's getting submitted. Brad's elbow is all the way on the other side and my body's blocking him from bringing it back. You don't need the arm on the other side to finish a triangle, but it definitely helps and makes it tighter. The reason why Brad's failing on these takedowns is just because he's not really setting them up enough. He's just kind of shooting blindly. Not a fault of Brad, it just takes a lot of time to get good at takedowns. To set up takedowns, you can feint, grip fight, and force reactions. So Brad gets to his knees, basically to the turtle, and from here I either think back take or I think front headlock position. And this time I choose the back. You can see I just changed my grips to like a seatbelt grip, and then I just pull Brad to the side, using my right leg to stop Brad from posting out more with his leg and connecting my body to his. Where I go, he's gonna go. I crawl with my heel to get my top hook in, and in general it's a lot easier to get the top hook in than it is the bottom. You can see I try and bring Brad to the other side so my bottom hook becomes my top, but Brad's making it difficult by staying heavy. So instead I do more of like a chair sit back take, and then I work to get the grips that I need. I want to grab Brad's top arm with my bottom arm and his bottom arm with my top arm so I can trap his top arm with my hook, and then pass his bottom arm to my bottom arm so I can make it my one arm for offense against his no arms for defense. Sliding your hand thumb first underneath the chin is going to be one of the easiest ways to get underneath the chin. And look how I also crawl my hands on his shoulder to get deeper and deeper and deeper, and once I'm here I just do a one arm rear naked choke and get the finish. Is this song giving anyone else some serious Ocarina of Time vibes? Let me know if you know what I'm talking about and notice it too. Okay, back to the stand up. Let's see what happens. Does Brad set up the takedown? No. And again, this isn't a knock on Brad. Brad always asks me what he should work on, and now I have something to tell him. And this is a really cool crucifix entry coming up. I really impressed myself with this, but I mean, I always impress myself. I'm just kidding, but let's see how I did this. So I had the wrist ride, which is very Khabib style, and then now I hook his arm with my leg, and then I just roll through as I get the grip on his arm, and now I'm in the crucifix. The crucifix is really cool, but I mean, there's not like a ton of submissions available. Right now, you can see I'm trying to go for the armbar, trying to make that work, but you know, Brad's doing a good job of defending, so I'm also attacking to try to get underneath his neck. Attacking two submissions at once is really going to distract Brad and make it easier to get at least one of them, and I don't really care which one I get. I'm going path of least resistance. And now I just do a quick little hip switch to bring Brad to the side, and now I finish with my one arm rear naked choke. And this is really cool. You can see I'm underneath Brad's chin a little bit, and as he goes to roll to the other side, it just gets deeper, and I know this is going to happen, so I just let him do it. And in a lot of my videos, I do a lot of one arm rear naked chokes just because it can be faster and easier because they still have their arm out of play. You can see I still have Brad's his right arm with my right arm, and that way he has nothing available to defend his neck. Alright guys, make sure to let me know if you like it all slow-mo or if you like what I've been doing lately where it's like normal speed and slow-mo highlights. Brad does a really good job at controlling my wrist, and a lot of times from stand-up I let people get underhooks because I want to go front headlock position, but because he has my wrist, there's no way I can do that. He's winning the grip battle right now. Brad puts me in close guard, and I counter by standing up and pushing on the hips with my knee in the butt, which you'll recognize from my how to get out of close guard video. I'm doing it a little modified. I don't have control of Brad's arms, which can make it dangerous to stand up because he can grab my legs, but I break the guard quickly, and plus I've got tree trunk legs and strong base, so I can kind of get away with a little more. I'm trying to do a back step here, but before I do, Brad brings his leg over to try to go for like a leg lock, so I just push his knee down, try to go omoplata, but he stops me, but I find myself right into the dope mount position. If you guys want to see a dope mount instructional, let me know. I use dope mount all the time. You're going to see it tons of times in these rolling commentaries. When I push the knee down, you can see I'm going for the omoplata, but Brad's hand is in the way, so I can't get it. Brad's knees are open, so I put my hand in there just to keep them open so I can make space for my knee to come in. Once my knee is in, I want to widen my knees and drop my hips to the ground, and this is going to make it a clear path to bring my right knee in. I gotta bring one knee at a time. Once my right knee is in, now it's time for my left knee to follow. Anytime someone's hand is by their ear, you wanna grab it for the gift wrap. The gift wrap is super powerful, and now I just put my foot on his arm so I can go to the armbar. I don't have my leg over his head, but if you guys have watched previous videos, you guys know it's okay. Because why? Because I have his leg and he can't turn into me. Right now I'm just making sure I control the wrist, and that's so important in an armbar. With the gift wrap, I also could have went for the back using like a chair sit back take, but again I go for the armbar instead, and I put my foot on his arm just so he can't connect his hands together, but I lose it anyways. But it's not a big deal because Brad is more concerned about not letting me get my leg over his head, which is a smart thing to do, but I eventually get it over his head and slide down the wrist. I don't want to break connection at any point. I want to be controlling him at all times, so I slide down the wrist and I eventually switch to 2 hands on the wrist, and that's just a better grip to finish with. They can't turn their hand very good, especially when I bring his hand to my chest and my elbows down. Alright guys, thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. If you do, I appreciate it. Please leave a comment or fist bump, and make sure to check out my Patreon to support the channel and as well as get exclusive content.